Tomorrow's going to be even hotter than that, I'm sure. The earth is getting warmer and hotter, and it's great if you like the heat. So for those of you who are big fans of the heat, congratulations, you got what you wanted. Thought we'd have fun today with a little topic. How big do you want to get? Because I feel like things have changed as far as what people aspire to over the years. When I was coming up, when I was a kid in the 80s, we had action movie stars like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, Jean-Claude Van Damme, buff guys, He-Man action figures and cartoons. We wanted to get big and jacked. And I think as time has gone by, as the decades have gone by, not that many people really, especially men, I'm really focusing on men in this discussion, young men, aspire to be huge. And I don't know if it's because the physiques have become so much bigger in bodybuilding over the past 20, 30 years than they were before, that it seems unattainable. Could the health scares have something to do with it? These are questions for you guys. I really want to know, especially you younger guys, those of you under 30, that's young to me, how big you want to be and why, if you can explain why. Because we have, especially in competitive, I just call it all bodybuilding, IFBB Pro League, we have all these divisions now, and even men have various divisions for different sizes, even though none of them are small. But men physique would be the smallest of the divisions in terms of muscle mass, though not really. These guys are pretty jacked. Then you have classic physique, which has height and weight restrictions. So if you're 6'1" like Chris Bumstead, you can only be 240 on stage and no heavier, or else you can't compete in classic physique. Then you have 212, which obviously the weight limit is 212. The bodybuilders tend to be shorter, so they're still pretty stacked and jacked. And then you have open bodybuilding, which is unlimited, meaning you could be, in theory, 1,000 pounds ripped on stage, and that would be okay. Sorry. But I don't know if a lot of guys now just want to be, fit, toned, have a little bit of muscle mass and a six-pack. How many of you still aspire to be like freaky big, like that extreme muscle mass, like an open pro, like a, let's run down the last Olympia. Most of the top 10 guys were huge. We had Hadi Choopan, although he's not the tallest guy, he's incredibly thick and dense. Derek Lunsford, huge. Nick Walker, huge. Brandon Curry, still a very big dude. Rami, come on now, he's big Rami. Samson Dowda, who's even bigger now. Hunter Labrada, who's even bigger now. Andrew Jacked, very symmetrical, small waist, but still, we're talking about a guy who's almost 300 pounds on stage. Bonac, thick, dense. Rafael Brandeo, not a small guy. Ian Valier, Crizo, that's top 12. These are all big dudes. So then, going down to like classic, these guys still have a lot of muscle mass. We were talking about Chris Bumstead, Ramon Dino, what's his real name? Ramon Rocha Quiros. Ernst Kalchinsky, who's now 275 pounds. Is that the end of him for classic? I don't know. Breon and Mike Sommerfeld. That was your top 5. But, I don't know how many people want to be as big as an open pro anymore. The numbers seem to still be there. We still have people entering bodybuilding divisions in these contests, but it's not like it used to be. It's not like the old days where people wanted to be huge. That was our only option, because when I started, all we had was open bodybuilding. There wasn't anything else. So we didn't even call it open bodybuilding. We just called it bodybuilding. It was men's. If you were a man, you were going to be in the male bodybuilding categories based on your weight or your age. Some organizations had height classes. And if you're a woman, you were going to be in the women's bodybuilding. There was no fitness, figure, bikini, wellness, physique. There was none of that. There was just women's bodybuilding. Wow, man, we're not getting too many chats on this. Yeah, nobody watched. There's 12 of you watching now. Anybody? I'm just curious. This is for you guys. This is I want to hear from you. I want to hear how big you aspire to be, and what's your reason? Is it because that's the look that you prefer, or is it something else? Is it you're worried about health risks if you aspire to be 300 pounds or 270 ripped or something like that? Or is it a time issue? Because I know we're in a faster society now. People don't wait as long for things. We get movies streamed instantly. We get, you can message someone with a text message or an instant message immediately. Whereas, so men's physique look, most guys with a couple years, 2 or 3 years of good steady training, eating, could have enough muscle mass to compete successfully in men's physique. Classic, same thing, 2, 3, maybe 4 years. Open bodybuilding for most guys is going to take longer. How big do you want to be, Ron, our stove? It's a good question because, geez, what's wrong with me? It's a moot point because that ship has sailed for me. I wanted to be as big as the guys who were in the magazines when I first started out. So I started looking at the magazines in fall of '87, and it was Rich Gaspari, Lee Haney, Barry DeMay, Lee Labrada, Mike Quinn, Gary Stridham, Mike Christian. These were the top stars of that era, and I wanted a similar look to that, which I never really got that. At 5'8", highest I ever competed at in really good shape was 208, 208 pounds, which that's much smaller than a Lee Haney, obviously, or a Gary Stridham. That's how big I wanted to be. I never got as big as I wanted to be. I never did. A couple body parts got as big. I got the biggest chest that I could have ever wanted. I got the biggest quads I could have ever wanted. My arms never got with the program. I just never had that crazy muscle mass where walk in a room and everyone's like, geez, what the hell is that? What the F is that? That guy's a freak. Although they would also say, what a juice head. So I got a lot bigger than I started out at for sure, but I never got as big as I wanted to be. Michael Paderos, who you got winning in Portugal? So my favorite's Andrea Presti. Yeah, Andrea, he's done second so many times. He's the defending champion. He won this last year. He's gonna have a go of it though. He's got. We just did a good preview on the show. If you haven't watched it, Giles Thomas and I did a preview for our MD Power Hour show. We went over the Portugal Pro. We talked about Andrea Presti, Vlad Sukhorochko, Roman Fritz, Peter Klankir, Emir Omoragic. These are all going to be really, really high placing guys. Christian Wolski. But my favorite is probably Presti. Presti, like I said, he's the defending champ. He took a lot of second places. He took second in Orlando last year, second at the he was second at the Big Man weekend last year. Wait a minute. This is the Mr. Big Evolution. Yeah, he won this last year. He took second in the Big Man weekend. Second at the New York Pro last year, to Blessing. Yeah, so Andrea Presti, that's my favorite. He looks awesome. Could be Vlad, Roman, Emmer. These guys are really good too. Tim Wixzirza, you're looking lean today. Yeah, I'm down. I wake up around 215, 216 now. Go to bed around 218. Down a few pounds. It's summertime. You're looking lean today. I want to be big enough that I stand out, not a specific weight. I don't mind the States, but not being vain. The States, the United States. I don't know what states you mean. I think when you're lean, you look bigger anyway. I think most guys who work out want to have an appearance so that people know that you work out. It shouldn't be like you should never have to tell people you work out. That's why I used to tell people that really focus more on strength, and they can't really make up their mind, or they want to get stronger, they want to get bigger, but they're training more for strength. I see them, and I say things like, would you rather look like you could bench press 600 pounds and only be able to bench press 300 pounds, or would you rather be able to bench press 600 pounds and look like you could bench press 300? So I say pure bodybuilding is all cosmetic. It's all vanity. It's trying to create a look. It's sculpting your physique. It's adding muscle and trying to improve certain body parts. And you're trying to get closer to a vision in your head of your perfect physique. And that's going to be different for everybody. Everyone's got different aspirations. Yeah, I did want to be huge. I never wanted to be like Dorian size or Ronnie size. I think it's because I knew already in the back of my mind that there's no way that's going to happen. Most of us are not capable of having that much muscle mass, no matter, I don't care how many drugs you do, how well you eat, how long you train, it doesn't matter. Not everyone can be that big. So we've had that argument before. Dan Williamson, when a sport is diversified, it takes away from the core events. Yeah, that's how a lot of people feel about all these divisions that have been added since it all began with just men's and women's bodybuilding. I can say that I appreciate all the divisions. I respect the hell out of everybody that works hard, diets, trains, does all the cardio. It's not easy no matter what division you're in. But I'm always going to be a bodybuilding fan. That's the division that was originally there. It was the It was the core of the sport. It was all that we had for decades and decades. Then only the past 15 years or so did we start adding all these other divisions. I think fitness came first, then slowly we started adding divisions, and now we have 11 divisions. Is that right? So for women, you have bikini, figure, fitness, wellness, physique, women's bodybuilding. That's 6 women's divisions. So for men, you have so that's 6. So for men, you have men's physique, classic physique, open bodybuilding, and I'm going to go for the pros, 212. So that's 4 more. And you also have wheelchair. It's 11 divisions. It's a lot. And some of these shows, like the Olympia, the Arnold, and a lot of shows, they have every single division. So it's sometimes some of these shows take like 2 days and nights to go through all the divisions to judge them and do the awards and the routines, and it's a lot. It's kept the sport thriving. It's brought a lot of people into the sport. So in that aspect, I can't complain, because I don't know, honestly, if all we had was bodybuilding and we had never added any other divisions, I honestly don't know if the sport would still be around. I don't know if there would have been that much support, both in terms of the athletes, the fans, sponsors. I don't know if it would still be around, or if it was, it would be a very small cult thing like it was long ago in the 70s. So, without these other divisions, I don't think I'd even be talking to you here now with the MD logo behind me. I don't know if there would be a bodybuilding fitness industry at this point. Let's see. Let's get back. Raymond Jones, he's staying on topic. Thank you, Raymond. I want to be as big as Stefan. It's not the biggest I can get naturally. So Stefan is, what's his last name? Maleta? Stefan from France. He's my favorite to win this weekend. Stefan Matala from France, living in Dubai. Trains with Andrew Jacked. He's in a lot of those videos. Yeah, Stefan.nfc on Instagram. Don't know what he weighs, but I mean that's a lot of muscle. It's I'm sure he's not 250 pounds. Some of these guys you'd be surprised, like Terrence Ruffin's 175 pounds on stage. Not that he looks as big as Rami, but if you didn't know how tall he was or anything like that, if you looked at him, you'd probably think, well, 200, 220, because he has really nice round muscles and small joints. Yeah, body weight's hard to. Oh, Tim said stairs was a typo. Yeah, especially if you're doing the talk to text, that messes up all the time. So you don't mind the stairs. Yeah, what's funny is when you get to a certain size, you will get stared at. Not always in a good way. The bigger you get, especially if you're big and you walk around lean with veins and everything, you're going to get stared at a lot because you're a freak, you're an anomaly. You look very different from most people. And like I said, you're not going to get, some of the attention will be positive, some it's going to be negative. I mean, I've had people yell from car, I'd be at the beach or something on the sidewalk, whatever, and cars would drive by, and it's always a guy. I've never been yelled at I've never had this happen with a girl yelling out the window like, roid head, juice head, they'll yell that as they're driving by or something. So, what do you do? Because people aren't stupid. People are aware that steroids are a thing, that they're used by athletes and recreational athletes, a lot of people on PEDs these days. So yeah, you will get stared at. So if you want the attention, you have to sort of accept that. You say, this is what I signed up for. I wanted to stand out from regular guys and be exceptional. I wanted to have way more muscle mass, way less body fat. I wanted people to instantly see me and say, wow, that dude's jacked. That guy's trains hard. He must have been training for a long time. And then a lot of them are going to think he's also on steroids. But you wanted that attention. You have to take it, both the good and the bad. You can't just, be happy with the good attention or the positive feedback and attention and just be bitter and angry about the negative comments. Because, especially on social media now, because people are anonymous, anybody can create these burner troll accounts with 0 posts, no picture. They just create these accounts to talk shit. I've had a ton of people where I've checked the account and they created the account just to bash me because it's like 0 posts. It was just created. And you can't really come back at them. It's a private account. You can't message them. You just have to sort of try to shrug it off. Let's see. Muscle Machine. I want to look that big that you walk outside, people in the cars be like, what is that? Yeah, I mean, that's what I wanted. I wanted people to freak out. I wanted to be a freak, even though when I started out, freak was a different thing than it is now. We didn't have we didn't have guys that were walking around 300 pounds ripped back then. You know, there's not many of them now, but we didn't have people that big. There were a few, you know, like Stridham at his biggest was a very big man. We had guys like Bertil Fox, Vic Richards was huge. Lee Haney was a 250-pound guy in shape. But now we have, you know, guys that are just monstrously huge, like Nick Walker, Sampson, Derek Lunsford. These guys are so thick and dense. Let's see. Dan Williamson, diversifying allows for more income for organizer and gives more athletes an opportunity to participate at the more appropriate level. Yeah, 100%. I mean, the promoters need these other divisions. If you took out like men's physique and women's bikini from these shows, it would cut their profits probably more, I'd say in half, but probably more than that. Because if you go to any amateur show, especially, those are the two divisions that are stacked. There's tons of people in men's physique, tons of people in women's bikini, women. Bodybuilding is usually not that packed. Well, we get some decent numbers sometimes, but Classic has been getting more and more numbers at all the shows I've been to in recent years. Bodybuilding is kind of held steady. It hasn't really grown. It's not what it used to be, because obviously back in the day, people had no other options. They had to do bodybuilding, or you didn't compete. That's all there was. So now they have options, and the women have options. They have a lot of options, the women. So they're going to exercise those options. If they want to stay pretty and feminine and wear heels and a nice cute suit and stay 110, 15 pounds, they can do bikini. If they want to be huge, you know, as big and freaky as possible, they can do women's bodybuilding. Women's bodybuilding numbers they've been going down very steadily over the years. Because like I said, it's a lot of women don't want to lose their femininity. They don't want to take all the male hormones. They don't want to be that big and get the side effects, like start to lose their hair, getting stubble, their voices get deeper, their skin gets really rough. You know, a lot of women see that and they're like, no, I don't want that. I want to be still pretty and hot. I'll do bikini. I'll do wellness. I'm not saying that there aren't drugs involved. Drugs are involved in every division, guys. You know this. But they do tend to be more heavily involved, like larger amounts of drugs in the divisions where you need way more muscle mass. It just stands to reason. It's a mathematical thing. Built to laugh. Do you think Hunter can beat Andrew with his gut control issues? Personally, no, I think he should have placed above Andrew at the Olympia. I don't know. They're very, very different physiques. I'm very curious to see what happens when those two go up against each other, because last year, Andrew didn't really have much opposition at that Texas Pro. I'm not saying like Fitzwater wasn't good, Kamal, you know, there was some very good competition for him, but there was nobody who you looked at and said, I think he might get Andrew. No, when Andrew walked out last year at Texas Pro, it was game over. It was just game over. I don't think that's going to be the case this year. I think Hunter's going to give him a hell of a fight, and I don't know who's going to come out on top. Two very different physiques. Andrew's got he's got a very unique look, Andrew. Nobody looks like that, with the super wide clavicles, a little tiny waist. Hunter's got a great physique too, so we'll see what happens. Raymond Jones, Sean Roden had the best balance of aesthetics and size in the open division. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people were very happy when Sean won, not only because it sort of broke a long-standing tradition where Mr. Olympia could come in off and still win, still keep the title, because they say, you got to knock out the champ. You can't just beat him on points. You got to knock him out. So we had a lot of cases where Mr. Olympia came in off. It happened with Dorian a couple times, happened with Lee Haney, happened with Ronnie, Jay. All of them came in off their best and still kept their title at times. Whereas this time of that year, 2018, Sean Roden just looked spectacular. Phil Heath was there trying to win his 8th title. Would have been tied. He would have tied the record for Ronnie Coleman and Lee Haney. But Sean just looked spectacular, and Phil had issues controlling his gut. He had the bubble gut going on because of the hernia. And it was protruding, and it was very distracting. And Sean won the title, God rest his soul. He never got a chance to defend it, never got a chance to be on stage again as a competitor, unfortunately. Let's see. Raymond Jones, I think most guys would want to look like C-Bum minus the imbalances. Yeah, C-Bum with better biceps is like the perfect body, right? I mean, Chris Bum says looks freaking amazing. If I could pick one person, God said, if you believe in God, I believe in God. God said, Ron, anybody in the world, you can have that body right now. Who do you want? I'd be like, I wouldn't even think. I'd be like, Bumstead, Chris, Chris Bumstead. Make me Chris Bumstead. Yeah. He's, 6'1.5", 240 ripped. Crazy, just a beautiful, beautiful shape. He's plenty of muscle, crazy condition. You could nitpick, he needs bigger biceps, then he'd be just about perfect. If Chris's arms were, as good as his legs, overall he still has the best classic physique in the world for 4 years straight. But yeah, Sean Roden had a hell of a physique. Raymond Jones, I'd rather look like Sean than Phil Heath. I mean, yeah. I mean, Phil didn't look like uncomfortable. He had a thicker look. He was thicker. He was like 5'9", 250 on stage. I believe Sean was 5'10", about the same. But Phil was denser, thicker physique. But yeah, Sean Roden in shape. Thing is, I wouldn't want to look like, see, Sean, when he went off, he would take parts of the year and go off drugs. And I don't think he was that serious about his training and eating. I'm just guessing. Because that year that 2019, when he did the Pittsburgh guest posing, I know he had legal issues that we weren't really aware of at the time with that rape charge. So I'm sure that was messing with his head. But yeah, that was not a good look for him. But he had so much going on. Yeah, I mean, I really wish we had a chance to see more of Sean after that, at least 1 or 2 times more on the Olympia stage, but we didn't. We never got that chance. But that's why, man, every day is a gift. Every day is a gift from God, guys, or whatever you believe in as whatever reason you think you're here alive on earth right now watching this, whether it's God or, I don't know, you think it's fate, some cosmic thing, I don't know. But yeah, but getting back to the original topic, that's a good question. If you guys could look like anyone competing right now, anyone who's still competing right now at the Olympia Arnold Classic level, who would you look like? And this could be any division. Could be any division. Men's physique, classic physique, 212, open. I said it. I said for me, Chris Bumstead, I'd love to have that physique. It's still functional, athletic looking, plenty of size, small joints, small waist. He looks healthy. I know that's a weird subject to go into. A lot of people look healthy and they're not healthy, but he still has a healthy look. He doesn't look like toxic. Like some of these guys, I'm not going to name names. There's some guys in open bodybuilding, even guys as young as Bumstead or younger, who they look a lot older. They don't look healthy. It just looks like they're on a lot of chemicals, and I'm sure they are. They're doing what they think they need to do, or what they do need to do to achieve a certain look that they feel is going to advance their careers, move their placings up. But yeah, I would not want to look toxic, because if you look toxic, you probably are toxic. You probably have a good amount of health issues. Built to laugh. I'd rather have the Andrew Jack physique, yeah, or even Regan Grimes, although he hasn't come in shredded yet. Yeah, Regan's got a hell of a build. I mean, Andrew Jack. I mean, let's be real, guys. If any of us could be both tall and have an awesome physique, like over 6 foot, I think most of us would rather choose that than be 5'5" or 5'6" and super jacked, right? I mean, if you had your choice. The thing about Andrew and these guys like that, especially like Andrew, if you stood next to Andrew, it's always more impressive. And I'm a shorter guy. I'm down to 5'7.5". I'm down an inch from my younger years already, but I think a tall physique, even though it doesn't always do that well, I mean, he does, but there's other guys like Jamie the Giant where the height and the long limbs were kind of an issue and sort of held him back. But still, when you see someone like that in person who's tall and jacked, it's just, you can't help but be impressed. It's hardwired into our brains from the caveman, Neanderthal days. We respect sheer physical size, and a tall, big guy is bigger than a short, big guy. That's why they weigh more. Myself says I'm natty. That's good. And then he's got a Cookie Monster. Is that a Cookie Monster emoji? I don't think I have that option on my phone. Raymond Jones, I don't want C-Bum's quads. I want to look like a downsized Andrew Jack with better separation of legs. Yeah, that's not a bad way to look. Zavonko, true tallers, more dominant girls love it. Yeah, I mean, I'm so glad I'm not single now. I'm so glad I'm older and I'm happily married and all that, because it's a shit show out there for you guys, for you single young guys. A shit show. 5 to 10% of the guys are dominate. They have 80% of the women now. So 80% of all men are all fighting for the scraps, the 20% of the 20% least attractive women. That's who 80% of men are sort of fighting each other over, while Chad, Tyrone, the top 10 to 20% guys have like, 3, 4, 5, 6, 800 girls going at once. 800, wow, that's a busy dude. Anyway, yeah. So height, yeah, women like height. I think they always did, but it's become more of a thing lately. Built to laugh, dude. I saw Andrew in person next to Ian at the Olympia press conference. It was insane to see the difference. Yeah, Ian's like 5'9". Is he 5'10" maybe? But he's not a tall dude. He's not short, but when you see these guys, I mean, Andrew's probably the best tall bodybuilder out there right now. I mean, Samson's not short either, but Samson's not even 6 foot, is he? Is he even 6 foot? I think Samson is 6 foot. But yeah, I mean, like I said, if you're standing next to two guys who are huge and one's 5'5" and one's 6'2", you're going to be drawn to the 6'2". It's just, we're humans. We can't help it. Now, that's just biology. It goes back to maybe before cavemen, maybe when we were like little monkeys. I don't know. The big tall monkeys got more attention. Well, they were on all fours. Where are you getting these dating stats? Oh, all the red pill videos. Yeah. I went down that rabbit hole. There's red pill videos. If you just Google it, you'll find a billion channels. But there's plenty of evidence to back it up. It's basically because of dating apps and social media. They said like women only swipe right on 5% of all the men on Tinder that they see, and men will swipe right. It's right on 60%. So women are a lot pickier than men. I think it's always been that way, but now it's much more. They're much pickier than they used to be. Michael Williams says, as I'm about the same height as Ruffin, natural, I'd like to look like a downsized version of him when I reach my potential. Yeah, Michael, I don't think that's unrealistic. I think you could get within 75% of the size that he has. I mean, Ruffin, I don't know what he uses or doesn't use. He doesn't appear to me to be a heavy user at all. I would bet good money that he uses very, very moderate amounts of PEDs, very moderate. He's never looked puffy or toxic to me at all. So yeah, Michael, that's a very, very attainable and realistic goal. And he's got a hell of a physique. Go to Amin Ali, Tony Freeman would crush now. Yeah, Tony was top 5 in the Olympia. Yeah, Tony was great. Tony was, he came along. I don't know if he'd have to be a little bigger though. I don't know. He was big. He was like 270 on stage. Is that right? I want to say. He was like 6'2". Yeah. Let's see, Tony. Ron, who taught you biology? LOL. Yeah. I mean, I never took biology, obviously. My math and science background is very, very minimal. Ignorant is probably a better word. Svanko, I swipe all. 100% swipe right. Yeah, a lot of guys do that because, they're just playing the odds. Like swipe right on every girl and hope somebody will match with them and message them back. Portugal Pro predictions myself. So on this channel, we have a whole Portugal Pro preview where we didn't really make predictions, but Giles Thomas and we went through the Open, Classic, and 212, and we talked about the front runners in all those divisions. We both have Andrea Presti as the favorite, our favorite to win. We think he's going to have a very strong challenge from the big giant kid from Ukraine, now living in, where is he, Dubai? Probably Dubai. Vlad Sukhoroshko, Vlad the Impaler. So I think that's your top two. Roman Fritz is going to be in the mix. Amir Omaragic. You got Peter Clanchier. You got some good guys, but I think Andrea Presti is if I was a betting man, that's where I put my money. Simps get swiped. Simps get swiped. They don't get swiped on. Simps do the swiping. Raymond Jones. I'm glad I'm out of the game. Been married for 8 years now. Yeah. Guess how long I've been married, guys. Guess that. Come on, guess. I just had my anniversary a little over a week ago, the 29th of June. 32 years. 32 years I've been married. 32 years. A lot of you guys aren't even 32 years old. So I was married before you were born. 1991, June 29th, 1991. And I remember I was a little upset because I was working for ESPN. Not ESPN. It was a production company called American Sports Network that we produced programming for ESPN. We did event specials. And I would have worked that USA. We were covering the USA Championships for ESPN that year. And that was the year Matarazzo won. Flex Wheeler took second. Late Mike Matarazzo, rest his soul. So I was back here getting married that day. I missed that particular USA that Matarazzo won, which was a good one. They were all good back in those days. Raymond Jones, okay. Yeah. Simps get swiped. Yeah. Curious, how hot is it where you guys are? We're having an easy day here today. It's only like 85. It was 96 yesterday, but half the U.S. was like 100 degrees or more yesterday, I think. It is getting hotter and hotter and hotter in this planet. I blame me and all the other previous generations behind me. We screwed it up for everybody. Let's see. Based on who's qualified at the moment, you're talking about the Olympia? I gotta get rid of this heart, this emoji thing. It's like in the way of my, I can't see the text. Who do we think will make top 10 at the Olympia? We still have a lot of people that need to qualify. Andrew Jack needs to qualify. Hunter needs to qualify. Yeah, because the only people who are qualified right now, so Hadi's already qualified, obviously. Derek, Nick, Brandon. Brandon's qualified for life. So Rami. The top 5 from last year already qualified. 6th place was Samson. He's qualified with his Arnold win. Hunter still needs to qualify. Andrew still needs to qualify. Bonac is skipping this year. I don't know what Raphael's doing. He's pretty big right now. He needs to qualify. Ian Valier qualified already. Crizo qualified already. Patrick Johnson, no. Griffin, no. Justin, no. Top 10, I think we're going to see a lot of the same people in the top 10 this year. The order is going to shift around a little, I'm sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if Derek wins this year. Hadi's second or Nick's second. Yeah, I mean, Hadi and Nick, geez. If I say Hadi's going to take third, a lot of Hadi fans are going to get upset. If I say Nick's going to do anything but except win, a lot of you guys, you're very loyal fans. I applaud that. I'm glad that you guys have your favorites and the dedicated fans, and you think your guy's the best and he should always win. And if he doesn't win, it's bullshit, it's politics, it's this and that. But only one guy can win, unfortunately. I remember a phrase that's stuck in my head for many years. It was Wayne DeMilia, I believe, years ago, about 30 years, 40 years ago, maybe, said, the only man happy with the contest results is the winner. Nobody else is happy. Everyone else is like, I should have won. And their fans are like, my guy should have won. Yeah. Stars, calling names. This is held for review, but I'm going to answer it. Tim Wuzerza. Have you ever turned back at shit talkers called you names? Eventually, as we get older, we make our wiser decisions. I've been guilty of wasting my time, my mental energy, all that with arguing, clapping back, chirping back, whatever you want to call it, answering back to trolls, people who are talking shit. And it is a waste of time because some people don't have much to do. They don't have much going on. And they love to argue and they love to get a rise out. They love to upset, figures in the industry. Like if they can get me pissed off and say, Harris, you suck. You're ugly. You got small arms. You're stupid. Whatever they want to say. And yeah, many times I've been stupid enough to engage them when I should just ignore it, block them. I should. And I do that most of the time now. Occasionally I do get riled up and I start arguing and then I remember why it's pointless and futile to do that, because you can't win an argument with a nameless troll, somebody who's got no name, no picture. They could say anything they want without any evidence or much of an argument, and they'll just keep going at you. Let's see. Nick is hungry. Absolutely. Alberto Montejo. I can't believe Aceto can't pull a win with AJ. What do you mean with that? Who's AJ? Andrew Jacked? Oh, he might be able to. We don't know. He already... Let's see. No. Who had him last year? Was Aceto his coach last year? No, it was Farrell last year. George Farrell, right? Yeah, he's with Aceto now. He might win. Texas is coming up. Let's see. Samson. I do not favor a particular athlete. I wish them all well. I do believe Hadi will hold on to his reign, and I have no problem with that. It's tough to say. We've had a lot of Olympias. 2017 was Phil Heath. That's one champ. That was only 6 years ago. 18 was Roden. 19 was Brandon Curry. 2021 was Rami. And 22 was Hadi. We've had 5 different men since the 2017 Olympia. We've had 5 different Olympia champions in the Mr. Olympia. So we haven't had people holding on to the title very long. It's been changing hands like crazy. So I don't know. Hadi looks fantastic, but Derek is getting better and better. Nick Walker's getting better. Andrew Jacked, Samson. There's so many good guys. I don't think Hadi is safe. Nobody's safe in keeping their title anymore. Nobody's like that dominant the way like Ronnie was during his reign, Lee Haney was, Dorian. We don't have anyone that's so far ahead of everyone else that you can confidently say he's going to hold on to the title for years and years. Hadi's phenomenal. So's Derek. So's Nick. So's Andrew. Samson. Curry could friggin' surprise us. Put a little more size on his quads. Who knows? You never know. I don't write people off anymore because I've seen so many awesome comebacks that I wasn't expecting, where people just shocked the hell out of me. Like I had honestly I've written people off over the years, like, they're done. They're never going to look good again. They should just retire. And then they'll come back looking better than ever sometimes, and prove me wrong. And I like that. I like to see people rally and come back when most people have given up on them, because clearly they didn't give up on themselves. Let's see. Ron, you're my age. Quantum FX says, you are my age and fantastic shape for your age. Thank you, Quantum FX. I will be 54 in September, God willing. Inshallah. Samson, Ron, how dare those possums call me possums? Don't they know you're the great and powerful laws of MD? Well, if you don't have any haters, if you're making everybody happy, if everybody loves you, then you're not ever taking a stand against anything. You're never being in any way controversial. You're just trying to be politically correct all the time. I do play it safe most of the time. I'll be honest. I'm not that much of an instigator. I don't ever try to cause trouble between people or among people or on, I don't go out of my way just to stir the pot and get people upset. I never do that. But occasionally I'll say things that people don't agree with, and I got to stand by my opinions and my beliefs, as anyone should. Otherwise, you're just a puppet. You're just trying to please everybody, and you can't please everybody. It's impossible. You can't please everybody all the time. It's a very famous old saying. Gentleman with a Greek name says, I'm Greece Komantos. Is your name Komantos? Well, I hope you watch Ask Dr. T with Dr. George Tsouliatos from Athens every Tuesday morning here on this channel. Let's see what else we got. Dan Williamson, this is for my physique. I would like to compete looking like Derek Lunsford. Wow. For the everyday look, C-bum. I mean, Derek is massive. Yeah, but that's if you want to be that big, that's your preference. Some people want to be much bigger and some people don't. It's totally up to you. No one can tell you what you should want to look like. Quantum Effects, I got on a waiting list with Dr. Adil Khan. Follistatin gene therapy. Hope's my best shape ever at 54. Wow. So what are they making people? They can make you follistatin resistant, like myostatin resistant. What is that? I hope that works. Well, good luck with that. Torin says, I'm not gay, but he spells gay G-A-E. We spell it with a Y in the English language. If you are gay, that's how God made you or how you were made. So I don't judge anybody's sexuality. So if you're not gay, that's fine. But if you are gay, that's fine too. Alberto Montejo, Psycho Lewis and Aceto, 2023. You're thinking Blessing with George Farah. No, Blessing's not working with anybody right now. I'm talking Mr. Owen, Andrew Jacked. Andrew definitely has Mr. Olympia potential. I don't see the improvements yet that I think would take him to that caliber to get past Hadi, Derek, Nick Walker. He hasn't beaten these guys yet. For him to beat them, he's going to have to put on a little bit more mass, keep the waist small. And when I say a little more mass, I don't mean like overall. I mean the back, the hamstrings, his posterior chain. That's where I see the room for improvement. Obviously he's got crazy shots. His front lat spread, his front double bicep. He's a tremendous bodybuilder, Andrew. But I don't see him challenging for the Olympia title yet. But you know what? He's got time on his side. He's not a young guy, but he's young in the sport. Last year was his first year competing. It was his first year as a pro. And the guy goes, look at everything he's done. He won a pro show his first year. He's been top three at the Arnold. He was what was he at Olympia? 8th place at Olympia. I mean, in your first year as a pro, the year you turn pro, to do all that, that's very, very rare. Let's see. Quantum Effects blows my mind how far bodybuilding has come since the 80s. It's changed a lot, man. Yeah, you would know. You've been there. You've been around as long as I have. It's a very different sport. the physiques, everything's changed. But I'm looking forward to watching that Muscles and Mayhem series on Netflix about the American Gladiators, because they were bodybuilders. Most of them were like bodybuilders. A few of them actually were competitive bodybuilders, but they all had, you know, that type of physique, and they were all on gear and the big hair and the spandex and the unitards, the atomic shoes. It was, you know, I lived in LA from 91 to 2000, and it's going to be like a trip down memory lane watching that show. Let's see, Andrew Jack, new Flex Wheeler. I don't know if that's a fair comparison, and I say that because Flex, straight out of the gate, was winning. He won the Arnold Classic at Flex's first pro show was the Ironman Pro. He blew that away. He beat like people like Paul Dillette was his first pro show too. Lee Labrada. I think Lee Priest was in that show. I don't know. He blew that show away. Then he goes to the Arnold Classic a week later. Blew that away. Goes to the Olympia. Second place to Dorian Yates at his first Olympia in 1993. He won 5 or 6 shows in all his first year as a pro. So, yeah, Andrew's got a great physique. Oh, Natalia Coelho. What's up, champ? This is the Women's Physique Olympia champion blessing us on the comments. What's up, Natalia? She's looking phenomenal. She's been winning shows left and right. What'd she just win? Natalia, you just won. I know we covered it. I was there, wasn't I? It was a New York Pro. Yeah, she won the New York Pro. The Olympia, the New York Pro. She's won a bunch of contests, guys. She's the best. Quantum Effects. Dan Duchesne had his Ultimate Orange back then. You always knew who was taking it. Yeah. So Duchesne, the late Dan Duchesne, was like, he wrote the Underground Steroid Handbook, which is like a pamphlet. It was like 60 pages, 70 pages. But that was everyone's resource of what gear was, what types, what the different steroids were, how to use them. That was like the handbook for years and years. It's crazy. But yeah, he developed a pre-workout product long before there were pre-workouts. And I'm surprised the category didn't catch on. It took like another 15 years before I started seeing pre-workouts being sold everywhere. But Ultimate Orange was like a pre-workout, had all kinds of crap in it. Some people think it had Dianabol in it too. It probably did the first couple batches. Let's see, Samson, at myself, definitely a potential, he's talking about Andrew Jack, definitely a potential second coming of Flex. Just sets to give him time when parts need to catch up and he'll be an Olympia threat. Yeah, I think he's a work in progress. I think he's going to be phenomenal. He's not there yet. He will be there. It's like, you know, Samson a couple years ago. Samson's still a work in progress, but he's getting closer and closer to his ultimate potential. I think Andrew's still a year or two away from his full potential. When he gets there, I think it's going to be scary. He just needs more time. Still have his books. Yeah, Dan Duchesne. She won the Pittsburgh and New York Pro. I always forget about Pittsburgh because I've never actually been to that show. Never been to the Pittsburgh Pro once. All these years. Crazy, isn't it? And I'm only in Boston. It's not that far away. It just never happened. Built to laugh. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome, Natalia. Appreciate you being here. I'm going to wrap it up, guys. I'm going to wrap it up. My dog needs to go to the park, do his business, bark at other dogs. No, he doesn't do that. He's a good boy. But that's it, man. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. Stay cool. It's very hot out there. Make sure you get enough liquid. Stay hydrated. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you guys joining in on the chat. I like these little chats with you guys on Friday. I love your feedback. I like doing these and being able to talk to you guys in real time. It's pretty cool. Anyway, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel. If you like the video, hit the like button, share. Do that notification thing with the bell and also on your phone so you know when we have great content. Again, there is a Portugal Pro preview on the MD Power Hour on this channel that we posted yesterday. If you haven't watched that yet, please check it out. We went through the Open Division, Classic, 212, the top names with footage of everybody and their strong points and flaws and all that. Just trying to get a sense of how this thing might shake out in Portugal. That's happening Sunday in Portugal. The Big Man, what is it? Big Man Evolution. Big Man Evolution? Is that what it's called? God, I got to get it right because the promoter got really upset when I referred to it. It's the Mr. Big Evolution. Mr. Big Evolution happening Sunday. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.